In 1959, 9 experienced hikers entered the frozen mountains of Russia. They never returned. What rescuers discovered weeks later would become one of the greatest mysteries in history. In February 1959, 9 experienced hikers entered the frozen wilderness of the Ural Mountains. They were young, skilled, and prepared for one of the toughest expeditions of their lives. None of them knew they were about to become part of one of history's greatest mysteries. The expedition was led by Igor Dyatlov, an experienced student and outdoor adventurer. The group had trained for difficult winter conditions. They carried maps, supplies, cameras, and everything needed for survival. As the group moved deeper into the mountains, weather conditions became increasingly dangerous. Strong winds and heavy snow reduced visibility. Temperatures dropped far below freezing, yet photographs taken during the journey showed something unexpected. The hikers appeared relaxed. They laughed, smiled, and seemed excited about the adventure ahead. On February 1st, the group established camp on the slopes of a mountain later known around the world as Dyatlov Pass. It would be the last night anyone saw them alive. During the night, something happened. Something so terrifying that the hikers abandoned their shelter and ran into the freezing darkness. When rescuers finally reached the campsite weeks later, they found the tent partially buried in snow. What they discovered shocked everyone. The tent had been cut open from the inside. It appeared the hikers had escaped in a hurry. Some had left without proper shoes. Others wore only thin clothing. Footprints led away from the camp. They disappeared into the snowy wilderness. Investigators followed them toward a nearby forest. There, the first bodies were found. The mystery had only just begun. Near the forest, investigators discovered 2 hikers. They were found beside the remains of a small campfire. It appeared they had desperately tried to stay warm in the freezing temperatures, but the cold had claimed their lives. Over the following weeks, more bodies were found. Some were discovered between the forest and the tent. It looked as though they had been trying to return to their campsite, but they never made it. As investigators examined the bodies, they noticed something unusual. Several hikers had suffered severe injuries, broken ribs, massive chest trauma, injuries so powerful that some experts compared them to the force of a car crash. Months later, the final victims were discovered in a snow-covered ravine, deep beneath the ice and snow, hidden from rescuers for weeks. The evidence created more questions than answers. Why did the hikers leave their tent? What frightened them enough to run into a deadly snowstorm? And what caused their unusual injuries? One theory suggested an avalanche. According to this explanation, the hikers believed they were in immediate danger and fled their tent. However, many researchers argue that the evidence does not fully support this theory. Other theories involve secret military testing. Witnesses reported strange lights in the sky around the same time. Some believed experimental weapons may have played a role. Yet no conclusive evidence has ever been found. Over the years, countless theories emerged. Secret experiments, unknown natural phenomena, even paranormal explanations. But none could explain every detail of the case. Decades have passed since that cold winter night. Investigators, historians, and researchers continue searching for answers. Yet the mystery remains. More than 60 years later, the Dyatlov Pass Incident remains one of the world's most famous unsolved mysteries. 9 hikers entered the mountains. Only questions came back. What do you think really happened at Dyatlov Pass?